All right, David Goldstein, thanks so much. Want to go now to that press conference just started in the Sylmar area. Let's listen
in Ventura and in West Los Angeles, as well as I'm sure our county representatives will say up in Santa Clarita. Extraordinary heroism and also extraordinary generosity in my city from the people of LA to one another, helping their neighbors, housing their neighbors, taking care of one another, checking in with each other. Certainly I've been doing that with loved ones in both locations and friends. And we've seen that on the streets of this great city. And I want to thank the people of LA for their great hearts. And I want to thank our first responders who have literally been working around the clock, some taking shifts from one fire and going to another. The incredible unified command that we are so lucky to have a county, a city, a state so well unified together, of course, with our federal partners as well. Right now, the update is we have 11,377 acres is what we're saying publicly. It may be a slightly bit more than that, but we'll have more from CAL FIRE later in the evening. This fire is now 5% contained. We have the 210 is open in both directions. But one of the main messages is tonight, unfortunately, we will not be having people come back to their homes. We realize what an inconvenience this is and how traumatic this is to so many people. But we watch fires in Northern California. We've seen through experience it is much better to err on the side of safety. And while the wind is not as strong at this moment as we have had in some of the briefings before and certainly yesterday, it is an unpredictable wind, and we do expect extreme wind starting at 10 o'clock today, and we already have felt the pickup here and also over in West Los Angeles. Citywide red flag alert remains forward, a smoke advisory for the San Fernando Valley. We have learned from Los Angeles Unified School District that all San Fernando Valley schools will be closed tomorrow, and many West Side schools. I'm told that is a number of 265 LAUSD and LAUSD affiliated charter schools that will be closed tomorrow. To see which schools in particular, please go to lausd.net to find that list. We still have 6 shelters open here. We have shelters also for the West LA fire that are open. We had 77 people who availed themselves of that, even though we thought we had capacity to close to about 12,000. Again, that speaks to the generosity of so many Angelenos who have taken people in to their homes, but those shelters will remain open. We've evacuated convalescent homes and other folks that we know were unable to move on their own, and I want to thank everybody who took part in that. Metro gave us buses and others involved in that. We have about 1,100 total personnel on site still here in the Unified Command. 400 of those are LAFD City. We've seen the front subside in certain areas, but we see more aggressive work of this fire out towards Lowell and Riverwood. Many people have asked what they can do to help. I want to highlight where donations can be given. I'm sure Councilmember Rodriguez and Supervisor Barger may have some information here as well. If there are physical donations that are not food and water, those can be made at the East Valley Adult Center. That's at 5056 Van Nuys Boulevard, 9 to 5. Food and water through Councilmember Rodriguez's office, also in Pacoima on Van Nuys Boulevard. That's 13520 Van Nuys Boulevard. I'm sure she'll speak to that more. And money, if folks are interested, Support LAFD is one of many great places you can go to. That is the Fire Foundation that is helping us get through this, and not just serving our LAFD firefighters, but everybody in the Unified Command. Briefly, the Skirball fire is also 5% contained at this point. That remains about 150 acres with 6 confirmed losses of structures. Those are homes. About 1,200 homes have been evacuated, a much smaller number of people, though it's a good, decent size of territory. The 110,000 households here, or people that have been evacuated, will remain evacuated. That is mandatory this evening. And we thank people for their understanding. This is for your safety. We allowed some folks to go back in their homes to get a few things, but this will not be available in the evening time, and we will assess things in the morning. So I'll come back and say some things in Spanish. I know we have Spanish media here, but let me turn it over to a woman who has been co-leader in this and done an extraordinary job. I want to thank her for her work. 5th District Board of Supervisor Catherine Barger, and from the 7th Council District of the City of LA, also another great leader who's been out there exhaustively, Council Member Monica Rodriguez. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I too want to thank the first responders. And driving over here, it looks like the fire's down, but it's anything but that. The fire is not our friend. Tonight, with projection of up to 80-mile-an-hour winds, it's unpredictable. So as the mayor said, evacuations are still in place. Please, please, please respect that. and abide by it. It's for your safety and the safety of our first responders. All of you Medical Center is on diversion, but is open and is working on a generator right now. So in the area up there in the hospital, there is an emergency room that's open, but just on diversion for ambulance. As it relates to the shelters, the West Valley Animal Shelter and the East Valley Animal Shelter are available for those that are evacuated and need to take their animals. They are accepting animals on an intake basis, and I know, Councilwoman, you have some updates on the equestrian community. But again, I really would appreciate everybody supporting our first responders as it relates to the evacuations. It's important for them to be able to do their job, and in order for them to do their job, they have to have clear access to all areas. And be vigilant, and if you see something, call to let us know, because what may look like just a small spark could end up being a big fire, especially with these winds. So with that, I'd like Councilman Rodriguez to say something.
Thank you, Supervisor. Again, we can't encourage everyone enough to please follow the instructions of maintaining the evacuation orders. It is incredibly important. We saw some terrible devastation at some of the local ranches, and a number of horses that were lost as a result of not heeding the call to evacuation efforts. We want to remind everybody that the Hansen Dam Equestrian Center is still available with 100 slots for large animal and equine evacuations, and we encourage people to please honor that opportunity to evacuate early before there is a problem. There is also the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds that is available, located in Lancaster. The LA Equestrian Center and Pierce College are at full capacity, so those are no longer options. But again, Hansen Dam, I want to assure everybody, also has the capacity with a number of trailers available that, should we find ourselves in a situation that would require an evacuation, we are very prepared to manage that. But again, we want to ensure that everybody gets ahead of this. We know what the winds are going to be like tonight, and we should be better prepared to assure that we have the safety of all of our equine family, in addition to our family and friends in these residences. Also, again, while we appreciate everyone's generosity, my office at 13520 Van Nuys Boulevard in Pacoima has been generously, all the contributions have been coming in of water. We are redistributing to the locations as necessary. We also want to remind everybody that the Emergency Evacuation Center located in Sylmar Recreation Center, as well as Brantford Park, they can also accommodate your family pets, small family pets, in addition to helping to provide those emergency evacuation facilities. And again, thank you everybody for your support and cooperation, and again to our incredible first responders for doing an outstanding job at this time.
And now Sheriff Jim McDonald is going to give an update as it relates to LA County Sheriff.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I won't repeat what's already been said. I'm here in my role as Director of Emergency Response for the County of Los Angeles. Our role is to be able to ensure that everybody's working well together, communicating well, and the deployment of resources are done as effectively and efficiently as we can. I'd like to be able to ask anybody who's in the area of any of these fires, or even if you don't think you're in the area, prepare to leave should the need arise. Pack a go bag, and in that bag I would just throw for your consideration identification, medications that you may need, food and water, important documents such as birth certificates, licenses, passports, any of those kind of things that you know you may need. Take enough for a couple of days, because our big variable tonight is the wind. And the wind is expected to kick up in some places to 70 miles an hour. That's hurricane force winds. That can drive a fire in a way that is unimaginable to most of us. So please take this serious, pack a bag, be ready to go, have your cell phone charged, and please heed the warnings when we ask you to leave an area. We don't do it lightly, we take it very seriously, but we do it out of an abundance of caution to ensure that nobody gets hurt. We have to work together, all of us, to be able to ensure the safety of everybody that we have the privilege to protect. So I would ask for your help. Public safety is a team sport. We can all be successful if we do this together. And I thank you in advance for the support that you'll give us. Let me kick it over now to my partner, Los Angeles County Fire Department Chief Darrell Osby.
Good evening, Darrell Osby, Fire Chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. I'm just going to give a quick overview from today's activity at the creek incident, the Rye incident, and then some supporting comments and safety tips. And then I'll turn this over to the next speaker. Not to be repetitive, but to be repetitive, it's critically important for citizens that live in wildland areas that if there's an incident in your area that you evacuate early. It was articulated earlier this evening that we are expecting some extreme wind behavior tonight. We're expecting wind gusts in some areas up to 80 miles per hour. So if you see something, don't wait for the evacuation order. From my perspective, leave. It's critically important for people that live in wildland areas that you probably sleep with one eye open tonight to recognize that if something occurs, that you get out early. Also, for citizens that live in wildland areas, these fires are still under investigation, but almost 90% of wildland fires are caused by humans. So be extremely careful in those environments. Ensure that prior to leaving that you have no combustible material around your home and that your doors and windows are closed prior to leaving. As it relates to the creek fire, today we've had a low in the wind, so most of the activity was based on primary support of containment of the lines. Primary and secondary construction of the lines was conducted today. Primaries with firefighters and ground crews out there separating the burn from the unburned, and then secondary lines for contingencies with the bulldozers in case there's an escape fire this evening. The same thing can be said of the Rye fire. The Rye fire, take a minute, it's up in Santa Clarita. The same activities have occurred there in relation to containment lines that were being constructed today. Just a quick update on the Rye fire in Santa Clarita. They're currently at 7,000 acres, 5% containment. All of the mandatory evacuations have been lifted. Currently, right now, there's just voluntary evacuations. We have over 775 personnel on scene. Our main concern for tonight is along the LA County, Ventura County borderline, where we still have open line at the leading edge of the fire. As a backdrop, prior to this press conference, I've had dialogue with the state and other regional coordinators as it relates to regional response and mutual aid. You can probably understand that most of our resources are pretty tapped. We've had firefighters that have been up for several days. I visited my communications center today, where we've had firefighters there from the LA City Fire, from the Cal Fire, from the Forest Service and my department, and the backdrop coordinating activities amongst the fires. We still get amongst LA County and LA City Fire Departments over 2,000 calls per day in our regular jurisdiction, so there's a lot of activity that's occurring. As it relates to mutual aid resources in the state of California, we have resources coming as far away as Northern California. We made requests to our regional partners through surrounding states in the western part of this country. So we have over 300 fire engines en route from those respective states to either come to respective incidents or stage for potential future fires. So with that being stated, I'm going to turn the mic over to my esteemed partner, Ralph Terraces, the fire chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department.
Thank you, Chief Osby. The men and women of the Los Angeles Fire Department have been working very hard. They've been on duty since early Monday morning, and we will maintain our recall status tomorrow. We project red flag conditions for the entire week. We're only halfway through that week as we speak now. I want to focus on the weather projection for tomorrow. We run weather every day within the Los Angeles Fire Department for the entire city. Our projected weather for tomorrow is 75 degrees, 4% relative humidity, with winds 33 miles per hour out of the northeast. The brush burning index, that's a number that we rate the threat of a brush fire. For tomorrow is 296. This is the highest number I've ever seen in my career. The threshold for this rating is 165. Monday, I'd said that to the mayor, that this is the highest number I'd ever seen. That was at 266. So tomorrow, it's even higher. Tonight, the winds will be sustained 20 to 40 miles per hour with gusts 65 to 75 miles per hour. So there is a significant wind event anticipated later tonight. Because of these conditions projected for tomorrow, we are activating within the city of Los Angeles the red flag parking restriction program in all brush hillside areas of the city. So if you live in those areas, we ask you to please do not park there starting tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Do not park there. That allows our fire engines access into those tight, narrow roads. If we can't get up there, we can't put the fire out. So we need you to pay attention to this program. In closing, I want to reiterate what's been said previously about evacuations. Ready, set, go. We prefer you leave early, don't leave late. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my counterpart, Chief Beck.
Thank you, Chief Terrazas. These multiple events spread across the basin are a tremendous drain on all the organizations you see represented here. Los Angeles Police Department has put all its detective personnel in uniform. That's over 2,000 detectives who aren't handling their cases, who are working this fire or will be working this fire. We have over 800 officers assigned to both locations today. We'll have additional resources coming on tonight. The reason I bring this all up is none of these resources, none of this expenditure will do any good unless the public works with us. As everybody said here, if police officers or firefighters ask you to evacuate, do so. The reason we have so many police resources here is to protect your property while it's gone. We will keep it safe, but we need you to be out of the areas so that the fire department can do its job. Ingress and egress is key. We will save your property if we are given the opportunity to do so. Again, thank the public for their cooperation. We have had no issues with that. Everybody has been extremely cooperative, but as this event goes day in and day out, it will become much more difficult. And tonight will maybe the most difficult night of all. And we will need everybody's cooperation to get through it and to make sure that you're all safe and your property is left intact. Thank you. And now I will introduce LA Unified School District Board Member Kelly Gomez. And I think Sergeant Spray is here too.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I represent the schools in the East San Fernando Valley for the Los Angeles Unified School District. I am also accompanied by Superintendent Linda Del Cueto of Local District Northeast. As the mayor alluded to, due to continuing fire danger and poor air quality throughout the region, LA Unified has announced that we will be closing 265 schools tomorrow and Friday. So within those 265, that includes all of the schools in the San Fernando Valley, both Local District Northeast and Local District Northwest. Again, all of the schools in the San Fernando Valley will be closed tomorrow and Friday. Due to the fire on the west side, we are also closing 17 schools in Local District West for tomorrow and Friday. That list in Local District West, as that fire changes, may be updated, so we want to refer folks to our website for the full list of schools. That's home.lausd.net for the full list of schools that will be closed throughout this week. I'll now pass it over to Superintendent Del Cueto.
Thank you. I am Linda Del Cueto, the Superintendent of Local District Northeast. That encompasses 121 schools in the Northeast Valley. And again, to reiterate Board Member Gomez's words, the schools in the Valley, all of the Valley, are closed for tomorrow and Friday. We highly encourage parents to continue to monitor that website at lausd.net. Also, though there will not be staff present at the closed schools, we will have plenty of staff members in our offices answering phones, available to answer questions on both Thursday and Friday. We appreciate the partnership that we have had with the LA Police Department, Fire Department, and keeping our kids and staff safe at these times. Thank you so much for the support of everybody.
Just on two final notes, we know that there are a number of charter schools operating in the San Fernando Valley. A number of them have been closed throughout this week. LA Unified is updating our website with that list of closures as we receive them. However, we always encourage families to reach out directly to their school operators, as the information may be a little slow getting to us. And finally, on behalf of all of LA Unified, we want to thank our first responders, LA City and County Fire, the Los Angeles Police Department, the sheriffs, Mayor Garcetti, our Los Angeles School Police, and all of our school staff who've been working tremendously hard to keep our kids, families, and schools safe throughout these difficult times. We really appreciate it. And finally, I want to turn it over to Mr. Ron Bravo from the CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 5.
Good evening. Once again, Ron Bravo, Incident Commander, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 5. Just wanted to reiterate, we are here in a supportive role to help the unified effort between LA City, LA County, and the Angeles National Forest help manage and mitigate the emergencies that we've been faced with. I want to give you a little bit of a global perspective as it relates to the region. I know many of you are aware there's other fires. Currently, CAL FIRE has deployed 3 incident management teams to this region, and we are one of those 3. There's currently over 4,000 firefighters currently engaged and over 80,000 acres involved. So as you know, this is a challenging time for all of us. You've heard the weather forecast is historic for what we're faced over the next few days. I just want to reiterate a couple of items that you've already heard about, and that is be ready to evacuate. We always like to encourage people to visit www.readyforwildfire.org. It'll help give you those items to be ready to go when that call comes. Now, many of you know that 2017 has been a very devastating fire throughout California. It's been also the most deadly in our history. So please, listen to your first responders. Please cooperate and be prepared to evacuate, because we would like to get this buttoned up as soon as we can, but we're faced with a lot of uphill battles. So please bear with us and know that all your firefighters, whether they be from this region or throughout the state, are doing everything they can to help mitigate this emergency.